Hey everybody, I'm Doug with Maximum Wealth. Thanks for joining us today. We want to talk about something that has been around since about 1935. It's retirement. In 1935, they implemented the Social Security Act. Social Security Act promised people money that they could retire. Before then, there was no thought of retiring, quitting work, sitting on your laurels, living as a unemployed person for any length of time. Everybody worked until they died. Today, retirement is the main thing you live for. It's the main thing you work for. You want to get through those working years. You want to get to a ripe old age of 65, and that's the number that the culture has set up for us. And it may or may not work. For it to work, everything has to work out perfectly. So what we want to do is actually look at some numbers and see if it makes just common sense about what's going on here. If we take our man or woman that's 35 years old, we want to know, can you really retire? Can this 35-year-old really retire? And what we're going to look at is taking a round figure that, let's say this gentleman makes $100,000 a year, or this lady makes $100,000 a year. We're not going to add any increases each year. It's just going to be $100,000. They're 35 years old. Over the next 30 years, to get them to age 65, they're going to make or bring in $1 million. I'm sorry, $3 million. 100,000 times 30 years is $3 million. Now, what is going to happen with that $3 million? How is it going to be allocated? Can we save money off of it? Because remember, you've got to pay taxes, you've got to pay expenses, you've got to live over those 30 years. So the financial planning world tells us that we need to save at least 10% of our income. And if we save 10% of our income, or $10,000 out of that $100,000, that means we're going to have to live off of 90. Okay? Now, some people are saying today, because of inflation, because of the market pressures, because of planned obsolescence, things dying, getting old, not lasting forever, we need to save 15%. Some even say, with the tax implications, that we need to be saving 20% of our money. So what we're going to do is look at, if we take $10,000 and we save that each year, and we earn 5%, because over the last 20 years, that's about what the market has returned, is about 5% a year. That means that we're going to have about $700,000 saved up for retirement, okay? If we save 15% a year, at $15,000 a year and earn 5% on it, we're going to have right at $1 million, okay? Now, if we save 20% a year, which is $20,000, and earn 5% on it, we're going to have $1,400,000. So you can see the progression. If we increase our savings, obviously we're going to increase our money. But remember, the 100,000 times 30 years, it's taken $3 million to get you through those 30 years from 35 to 65. So what we're going to ask $1.4 million or $1 million or $700,000 to do is to get you from 65 to possibly 100 years old. We need to be planning our retirement to last until 100. We don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know how much money we're going to need. So to use these assumptions that financial planners use, that you only need 60% of your income, which is what they say that you'll actually need during your retirement years, is absolutely not true. The problem that we're running into is people do not have the ability to make $700,000 do over the 30 years in retirement what $3 million has done for them over the last 30 years. They can't make $1 million do what 3 million did over the last 30 years. So what we're looking at here is actually stopping every bit of revenue income coming in and relying on our money that we've got saved up to provide for our life for 30 years. It's virtually impossible. I personally do not believe there is a way that we all can retire. It is going to be impossible because we just do not have the funds to do that. Now, that means keeping our lifestyle up. If you want to possibly live in a lesser expensive environment, maybe a lesser lifestyle, not drive a car, not have food to eat to a certain degree like you have been having it in the past, maybe some of these numbers could possibly work, but people do not want to regress. People are looking forward to those retirement years, and they are looking forward to those times when they can relax and enjoy their family, enjoy their life. And what is actually going to have to happen is the mindset of entrepreneurship needs to come in to your mindset in the working years and begin some type of projects or some type of small business or some type of service that you can provide that will provide you with additional income. These people that are out here actually retiring are not really just working for somebody else. They have got a side business going. They have got a side service business going to where they are actually providing some type of service or some type of product to a group of people, and they are receiving income off of that. They're not just going to rely on the employer's 401k, the pension plans that possibly may or may not be there. It does not matter if you're saving 10%, if you're saving 15%, or if you're even saving 20% of your income. It is going to be virtually impossible if you earn 5% on your money and it turns into 10% turns into 700,000 or $1 million or $1.4 million. It is still not, even at the top level of saving 20%, it's still not going to provide enough, even at $1,400,000, enough money to do what 3 million has been doing for you over the last 30 years. So join me on the next video to explain more about how these plans that the employers and the government has set up to help you provide this money and what it's going to do and what it's going to look like and how the pitfalls could affect what this actually ends up being. I'm Doug. Thank you very much for joining us.